Greetings and welcome to a Monday edition of the Shotgun Start. It is August 11th. Joseph, how we doing?
Brendan! Anytime get to be back with the boys, I'm excited. So I'm absolutely buzzing this Sunday night and a pretty good weekend of golf. So ready to go.
Weekend. Great Sunday of golf. I didn't watch much prior to Sunday. I'll put my hand up on that. I didn't need to get involved in Tommy Fleetwood hours, the inconsequential days before Sunday. I was on a boat. I was zooming around, boat boy. I didn't actually have to drive it this weekend. Andy is now lost at sea again. He made sure to let us know that he would be at sea. I mean, general loose term sea. I think it's a lake, probably more of a maybe great in his term. I mean, it could be a pond. I don't know where he is, but sea feels like too strong a term. He's stuck on a boat adrift somewhere, so he's missing Sunday night. He's going on vacation this week as well. Just abstaining from any Memphis chatter. Just doesn't want it. He just set sail and said, I'll see you on the other side. I don't want to hear about Memphis or what happened. But we had a good day. PJ, you're here. Welcome. We're getting another Sunday night, Monday episode with the boys. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. I thought for a second there, maybe foolishly, definitely foolishly, I thought we would be celebrating Mr. 1001. I thought we'd have to open up the history books again, check in on your latest audit of history. I don't know what you have for us, but it's been a great week of reassessing where the PGA Tour is or is not.
I mean, it's a sham. It doesn't care about its own history. We know that. But
you think anybody in the perfect 30 had Rosie winning this week? That's a big jump up. I don't know where you had Justin Rose in your top 30s, but if you're interested in potentially winning $1 million, I hope you planned for this.
I doubt many people had Rosie in the mix of shooting up. He probably in your 30 though. He was fine. He was safe for Eastlake, I think, prior to needing to win, not needing to win this week or anything like that. We have a text chain with the four of us as we planned Shotgun Start. It's been lively today. There's been a lot of chatter about Tommy, about NBC, about, latest. I was texting with somebody else about this trophy. It's kind of an embarrassment. Have you seen this new Memphis trophy? It's sort of the perfect modern sort of grotesque hunk of metal, just with zero history, connotes pretty much exactly sort of this modern, fake opulence that they have going on there. So I've got that going on. But you dropped a text earlier today, PJ, on the big chain. What's going on with Don Raya? Is Don Raya? I know everybody wants Memphis chatter. We got playoffs. What happened with Don Raya?
Don's prepping for the Ryder Cup. As you said the other day, he's probably writing his speech already for opening ceremony and getting prepared. Don had his dentist come in to the pro shop at Augusta Ranch, and he brought him custom painted, spackle painted Nikes to wear at the Ryder Cup. They got the Ryder Cup logo. They got the Ryder Cup USA logo, the red, white, and white Air Forces, speckle painted, red, white, and blue, dropped off by his dentist. He's always saying, people always ask him, where is he getting his Jordans? Where is he getting his Nikes?
No, they're not. Who's asking him that? Who's asking that, PJ?
I don't know.
He's
pretty active on social media. Maybe he's getting a lot of comments. I don't know.
I opened the video. I closed it. I was like, everybody's been asking me about what my shoes. No, not everybody. Nobody's been asking you about. Who's asking you about where your shoes are going to be for the ride? I have some questions. Why? I'm so confused. The caption says my dentist. Why is his dentist making shoes? And his dentist, of course, has some dopey nickname like Ace Man, I think was what he called him. This is the most Don Raya shit ever. His dentist makes the shoes and has a nickname called Ace Man. But he's fitted.
It's a big week for dentists. Crentist is back at the USAM. So it could be a big dentists are back in the forefront of the golf industry.
Yeah. Matt Vogt followed me on Instagram last week. Must have heard we're talking about him or something. I don't know. It's just freaked me out. But he'll be at Olympic. Yeah, that's good. Raya is just the most peacock and look at me guy. He's gonna have his fancy little shoes that his dentist, not busy working on teeth, but just making these shoes, custom shoes. So that's good. I'm glad you're keeping us aware of the Raya beat.
I think it's interesting personally that we're going with white Air Forces. You know, it's how the Steelers, Mike Tomlin buys all the guys black Air Forces because that's the gritty mentality he wants his team to have. We're going white painted Air Forces for Team USA. Not a lot of grit going on.
I mean, it's just Don. It's not everybody else. It's just Don.
That's the man at the top. That's the man at the top.
He's not the man at anything, but yeah, I guess he'll be there. All right, so thank you for keeping us abreast of senior golf and Don Rea Watch. That was a good one. That prompted a lot of questions in the midday before we got to some late fireworks. We got a Memphis FedEx St. Jude Championship that really would not end. Honestly, I know we crap on this event a lot, and it's for good reason. Let's not suggest it's unfounded. We try to hold ourselves to account, hold things to a standard around here because we like golf. We like the PGA Tour. It's not like the best golf course. It's usually hot. Last year's was pretty ho-hum. This was awesome. It was a great Sunday of golf. It was strikers only. Send your best. Spawn has had a great year. He strikes the ball like crazy. He's been, obviously made some huge putts. Justin Rose felt like he was flagging it every time he looked up. I know it got dicey there in the middle when he hit one what had to be 30 yards off in the middle of the pond. Was that 9 when he came up short? Shockingly, but it looked like he was flagging it. Fleetwood, Scotty. I mean, these are some of the best strikers going right now. So,
you just stopped right after 4 spots right there.
What was 5? Cam Young. Fine, Cam Young. Throw Cam Young, Mr. 1000 or Mr. 800 or Mr. 1200, whatever you want to call him.
Here he goes again. Just absolutely negging Mr. 1000. Plays well again after Joseph goes out on a limb, says, how many guys would you take over Cameron Young for the playoff? Everybody yells at him. You look up, Bubble Boys. Who's on the top of the list of the Bubble Boys? Mr. 1000. If Tommy won, it was going to be Mr. 1001. Everybody would have agreed, but here you go again. I
think if Tommy had won, it would have sort of delegitimized a little bit of what Cam did last week. It's like, well, anybody can win now. It's like a PGA Tour. It's just like they're letting anybody win now. You used to have to work for these things.
You're just blatantly insulting your own Maryland local Denny McCarthy ahead of his homecoming, where he's going to be Mr. 1001 at Caves Valley. That's
fine. That's fine. No, I mean, I think you just need Cam Young to break through to shine for a little bit. You couldn't get Fleetwood overwhelming it so quickly the week after. But Fleetwood does not get it done. We'll get to Mr. Fleetwood here in a minute. But we should talk about Justin. It was good though. Lamagna, did you enjoy it generally?
Yeah. I actually kind of came away with a more positive impression of the golf course.
Why this
time around? I've never liked TPC Southwind, but it's always a golf course that every tour player raves about, which is not always a good sign. But I wouldn't say it's great, but it's...
Do they rave about it?
Yeah, people really like TPC Southwind.
Rory has said it wasn't his favorite place or it didn't suit him.
Well, yeah. Since when does Rory speak for the typical tour player?
I see what you're saying. But I just didn't know. You said everybody raves about it. I don't know. That's one that
doesn't. A lot of players.
Okay.
Justin Thomas loves it.
Okay.
I think a lot of players of that ilk really enjoy TPC Southwind. I'm sure Sam Burns loves it. I like that it's real Bermuda rough, and that's become borderline extinct on the PGA Tour in this era of overseeding everything.
Overseed city everywhere.
Yeah, there's a real penalty for missing. The greens had just all been renovated, so they were pretty hot and firm, haven't settled yet. So similar to what we saw last year at Eastlake and Colonial, those greens getting redone. Played firm. You had to really hit your irons well. I think there's some cool holes out there. Is it a great golf course? No. It's probably right about average on the PGA Tour, which does not mean it's a great golf course, but I came away thinking it was a pretty fun tournament. Obviously, it shouldn't be in August in Memphis, but I wouldn't hate to watch golf tournaments there regularly.
PJ, did you enjoy Sunday?
Yeah, I thought it was. I thought it was pretty compelling. You had the tight leaderboard made it fun at the very least. That you had to start the day. Novak was still involved. Cam was going low in the morning. I mean, you had it. It was bunched up there at the beginning. Cam and Justin, or Tommy and Justin Rose immediately falter to start the day. It looks like it's anybody's game. You had the Chaplin subplot. I'm amazed we're like 5 minutes in and we haven't even mentioned the Chaplin.
I mean, the whole
return.
day gets an asterisk with the Chaplin on. You have a number one like playing with one hand tied behind his back. That's where we start with that. Whether Tommy had won, anybody had won, everything gets an asterisk from there on. And the Chaplin, like, let's be honest. I mean, he was there. He was there to carry the bag. But Scotty's got the lefts. He's like sending into the trees. He's got tricky yardages, tricky angles, tricky recovery plays. Ted Scott, he's missing all these putts, right? And so, yeah, everything gets an asterisk with the Chaplin. He lost like a shot and a half, I think, on the greens. So yeah, everything gets an asterisk with the Chaplin involved.
Chaplin did not really look like he knew what he was doing out there. I'll be honest.
You said it, not me. I'm going to keep my mouth shut. I've been on this beat. I'm not going against the man of the cloth. You know, he's got bigger things to do on Sundays and carry the golf clubs, I'm sure.
Well, that's what waking up first thing this morning and seeing that the Chaplin's coming on a Sunday instead of a Saturday this time. I thought that was a positive. I thought that was going to end well.
You know, that's a good point, PJ. They talked so much about the efforts he took to get there. Did he make it
overnight? Yeah.
Did he make
really?
it? Did he make it to church today?
Oh God.
Maybe that's why.
I mean, yeah. That's interesting. Now we're going at the Chaplin and his.
I'm not going at the Chaplin. I just assumed
vocational role.
Foolishly.
All right. Okay.
That a Sunday Chaplin might have more to offer than he did on Saturday.
Well, isn't Tommy Fleetwood Jesus Christ? Isn't that what they say? He looks like Jesus. Maybe he would have something to do on Sunday. Rose from the dead on Sunday. All right. Rose makes 4 birdies in a row. Looks dead, beaten. Great playoff with JJ Spawn. I honestly felt like completely confident in both the whole way. Like, would not be shocked. Like, I have full faith and confidence in both these guys. And they Rose got a little lucky with that first drive on 18, just sneaking across the hazard. That hole stinks, by the way. I'm sorry. Some people said, it's cool for a playoff and stuff like that. I remember crushing that, like, terrible. It's just obnoxious little hole. You just need to. It's kind of a goofy drive, and a lot of guys do not hit driver anymore ever. There, Rose was one of them, but fewer drivers, I should say, are hit there. Rose was one of them, but and then once you're safe, it's just kind of all the same shot, right? It's all the same shot into the green.
Well, did you like the putt? I mean, I think it's kind of interesting to the back left pin. You got to putt through the shadow. I don't mind that. It's a nice feature.
Do I think that's the biggest deal to shout and holler about? It looked terrible. It looked bad, though. It was stupid. They had this TV tower and this grandstand, this giant square shadow. And I think Hicks was at some point was a little uncomfortable. It was like, from the shadows to the light, to the shadows, back to the light, and down into the darkness of the. It looked dopey. It looked dopey as a visual, and that was the camera angle. Not the biggest thing. I can't get that worked up, but it feels like if the sun is setting in one direction, and the tournament ends at 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, and it just feels whatever. Didn't compromise play. I'm sure it's harder to read and putt through light to shadow to light, just as it is to face Randy Johnson at a 1 p.m. start when the shadows creep in between home plate and the mound. But it didn't look great. That said, Rose and Spawn go at it. 3 playoff holes. Excuse me. Speed by Tommy Fleetwood. And really, like, Author won a great playoffs the year. Like, it was, 18 got a little repetitive. Like, it got a little repetitive there, but I enjoyed it. I had a good. What do you have to say about Justin Rose, Lamagna?
Yeah, I don't want to blow by Justin Rose. I felt over the last few years, he's one of the players I've gained the most respect for. His ability to remain competitive at this age, very admirable. The close call at Augusta, where he similarly birdied a bunch of holes. I think he ate over his last 12 holes at Augusta. Easily could have been the Masters champion this year if Rory doesn't match him and then win the playoff. one shot. I don't know if you watched the whole day today.
Yeah.
Like the bunker shot Justin Rose hit on 3 today. It was
Yeah.
one of the coolest shots. Like he just has so many different shots in his bag, and his ability to turn up for big events. Now, I mean, I don't think there was much of a question if he was going to be on the Ryder Cup team for
I
Team
think he
Europe,
was
but I've
on.
seen a little bit of chatter of people being like, hold on, like, yeah, I understand the argument for him, but he hasn't been very good over the last few months. There's no debate now. I mean, I've always personally felt like he should be on the team, especially after what he did at Augusta. But now he's playing. He just proved he can beat one of the strongest fields in golf. So nothing but admiration for Justin. He talked in his post round about basically how he might not be the best player in the world week to week or the level that he was at when he reached world number 1, but he feels like he can channel that. And that's kind of what keeps him going. So I'm pretty excited to watch him play at Bethpage. I think it'll be a really cool story.
He went 4-3-3 on 18 in the playoffs. Looked like kind of pretty much out of it and birdied 14 through 17, nearly birdied 18 to just walk it off and take in a regulation. Just really burned the edge there. Had almost the same putt in the first playoff hole. I'm with you. Like look, he can be a doofus, right? He can be sort of this. I don't know if it's self-unaware, self-important. He's totally won me over. I would say almost since like 2018-ish, somewhere in there. Like really, like I'm so impressed by him. Like hanging on. He's 45 now. Obviously, Birkdale was 1998. That's like forever ago. Didn't win on the Euro Tour till like 2002. Didn't win on the PGA Tour till 2010 Memorial. He's a doofus, but I love him. Like I've come to love this guy over the last 5 to 6 years. I remember at Marco Simone, like after he missed Whistling Straits, wasn't on the team, and then he's sort of like this odd fit. Like right, he's older than Rory, but he's like kind of from that generation. Like where do you put him with all these young Danes and Hovland and Ludwig and all this stuff? And he was incredible that whole week. Wins in 2019, the Tour champ, wins the FedEx Cup. I just find the way, and the Masters this year, the way he's been able to like sort of hold on. I have just a lot of respect for he's just sort of this old lion. And I loved his quote at the end of the tournament. It was kind of a baller quote. He goes, "I know that when it matters most, I still got it." Kind of a badass quote. I feel better and better and better as it gets more and more important. And I think we've kind of seen him sort of crunch up over the last 5-6 years. Doesn't win every time, but we've seen him do that.
Yeah, I feel like maybe there are counter arguments to this, but how much energy it takes to play professional golf. I don't know that you can play consistently elite level golf once you're in your early 40s. So just being able to turn it on, I feel like is basically all you can ask for. And that's kind of the Adam Scott, Sergio, Rose age. Like maybe they'll show you a flash every once in a while. I don't know that it's possible to be a great golfer week in and week out. So just for Justin Rose to be at this level, winning comfortably in the playoffs, as we've seen Adam Scott struggle to do, not to pile on Adam Scott, but he's just another contemporary. It's really impressive.
And he didn't do the live thing when everybody did. All his like the British guys around him did essentially. Paul Casey, Westy, Poulter. I'm not suggesting they were all like best friends, but that was sort of his cohort. And he was with Excel, the agency. I don't think they sent anyone to live. That was sort of a thing they didn't do, and he stuck with that and stayed out of it. And I don't know. It's for him. I think it's whatever. You can go and do whatever you want. I think it's worked out well for him. Incredibly impressive. He's a lock for the Ryder Cup team, right?
Yeah.
I think he probably was before this. I think like
yes,
the Euros sort of know what they're doing. Like you could fall off a cliff, but like their guys are their guys, and he's been, essentially a lock on the team aside from that Whistling Straits year since 2012, and did enough this year to certainly be involved. So congrats to Rosie. He beats Spawn. Anything from him, he automatically locks up his spot. We already knew he was going to be on the team. Anything on JJ Spawn?
Only that there seems to be some level of concern of people talking about JJ Spawn and what he'll bring to the Ryder Cup team, and I just don't agree with that. I think JJ Spawn is a very good, consistent player, and any concerns about what kind of role he should play on Team USA are misdirected. There are far graver concerns than JJ Spawn, who was really good today. Brilliant today.
We'll get to those. Yeah, maybe Jordan Spieth. We'll talk about his. Is he a graver concern for the Ryder Cup? PJ.
I mean, Andy talked about it earlier this week. I'm saying this half tongue in cheek, but it kind of seems like it at the same time. That is JJ Spawn intentionally trying to leave himself these like 50 footers because he's just seemingly unbelievable at them, like Will Zalatoris used to do because he couldn't make them from 3 to 5 feet. Because it is clearly a skill that he has to even come close on all of these.
I like that the first two, he was the first one, right? He was like incredulous. Like, what do you mean that didn't go in? Like, what do you mean? It was like a 1 in 30 or something. He's like, what? He was incredulous. It didn't go in. Then he hits the actual edge in the first regulation. Then he makes it in the second playoff hole. It's just kind of, he is incredible at those 40, 30, 50 footers. So, one other thing on Rose I'll mention, one like interesting piece of content I saw earlier this year was, I think Claire Rogers went on his little motorhome of like his health wellness motorhome thing. He like bought a motorhome that probably no nice chunk of change, put all these different things on it. Like, I don't know. Some of it could be just mumbo jumbo, like, absolute like hokum stuff, but it's a plunge tub and like UV this or that. Just, I don't know. He's obviously committed to being as, fit and good as he possibly can for as long as he can. And we've heard him talk about this when he qualified for Troon and played well at Troon. I don't want to give up on the dream even at this age, and it's still cherish it, and being out here is a gift. And so I don't know why, but that made an impression on me, even if I think, maybe some of it's more mental than actual physical, but for him, if it's working, I don't know. It just sort of speaks to I don't know, just being impressed by his commitment to like push, even though he doesn't need the money, doesn't need really the accolades at this point.
I was gonna say, he's still got a lot of speed, which you can't have unless you're working your tail off at that age. He's got 180. I'm looking at pulling it up now. Pretty consistently high 170s or 180, like above average ball speed at that age is really impressive.
Yeah. And if you want to get your ball speed up, if you want to know your ball speed, you can go to clubchampion.com, put that promo code in, fried egg. You get a free driver or iron fitting with a club purchase when you go to clubchampion.com/fried egg. We all can't afford our own wellness RV, but we can try and work on our equipment. You're going to spend money on equipment. You might as well get fitted. That's one area where the common man can try and improve their game. You might not be able to have a $500,000 RV with all the equipment travel with you to each parking lot, but you can go to clubchampion.com. They're the most highly trained fitters in the world, an in-house university that trains every fitter. I love that. I love in-house university. Love a good made-up university. One of my favorites was Ball So Hard University. Remember that from Monday Night Football? The Ravens.
Terrell sucks.
Terrell sucks. Ball So Hard University. We have Club Champion University. They have continued education for manufacturers to stay up to date on all the newest innovations. Continued education. I like that. It's not promotion. See, that's what we love about this Club Champion. It's sort of brand agnostic, right? They're not going to tell you, well, this speed demon driver goes, this is the best and greatest thing that's ever. They fit you, and whatever the numbers say, they tell you. Now, you could say, you know what? I don't like the look of it. Even if the numbers feel better, I'm going with this one. But it's brand agnostic. They're not shoving any specific marketing material down your throat. They have 65 brands, which equates to 70,000. Roughly nearly 70,000 different head and shaft combos. They fit every golfer and every swing. I've been in there and seen some interesting swings for various abilities. So
throwing stones.
Clubchampion.com. I'm not throwing any stones. Clubchampion.com/fried egg. Use the promo code fried egg. You get a free driver or iron fitting with club purchase at Club Champion. All right, we've done Spawn. We've done Rosie. We should do the guy who didn't get in the playoff. One of them, Tommy Fleetwood. Hard luck loser. He was bad. He was bad all day. He stunk. I'm sorry. I know he bombed one in at 12, made another birdie at 13. He got hot there in the middle for a second, but he was struggling from the start. He now has played in 162 PGA Tour events, 29 top fives, according to Justin Ray, which is 11 more than any other player without a win. So 29 top fives, 43 top tens, 6 runners up. He said, I'm getting close. That's the good side of it. I'm obviously disappointed, but when you look at the positives, I was right there with a chance. It's hard to win. I just didn't get it done. Saturday, he talked about, you'd rather be there with a chance and you have your heart broken, I'm paraphrasing, than to not have a chance at all. I don't know about that quote. I'm getting close. Dude, you were up two up with 3 to play. Same in Travelers. Like, I think you've been more than close. You've been there and pissed it away. And he seems like an incredible guy. Credit to him for speaking at length with Damon Hack while the playoff was going on. I think it was the first hole of the playoff. A lot of guys, clearly a stinging defeat, and guys don't want to talk, but he did. But when you look at the positives, I was right there with the chance. A lot of these runner-ups were somebody legitimately going out and beating them. Like, he got a tough break, and a guy went nuclear or hot, not nuclear, nuclear, the little Twitter account, but nuclear hot, and just got
Twitter
beat.
Account.
Whatever, the Twitter account. These last two have not been that. Like, they're full blown gag jobs. Is that too harsh? He choked today. He choked at Travelers.
I felt like today was much worse than Travelers.
I agree.
And there's a lot to chew on here. It was really classy of him to speak after his round. That was appreciated. I was similarly uninspired by his comments, and particularly him talking about failing to birdie the 16th par 5. Only 2 par 5s on this golf course. You got to get them. And he's in the middle of the fairway. It's a poor approach shot, well right of the green, and then a really bad chip. Scraped together a par from putting off. That was almost a bogey, like the biggest moment of the tournament. And then he bogeys 17 from the fairway again to miss out on the playoff by 1. And the way he was talking about it, he was like, yeah, like 16, it could have gone a little better, whatever.
He was horrible. Like, no,
it was horrible.
It was awful. It was an awful. He gassed it off the green. He got TIO relief and gassed it through the green. And
horrible.
Barely got up and down for a par on an easy par 5. On 17, he came up and out of the putt. What was it, 5-6 feet? It was a bad chip there. That was a horrible chip there too. Everybody set it up. Bones is good. I thought he was great. He's like, this same thing Matsuyama had last year. It's very similar. Like, it's pretty simple. It's as good a spot as you could have, like, in terms of just access and runway to get to the hole. It was a bad chip and a worse putt. Like, he was horrible. And I don't know if that's nerves, is pressure, as Zaner would say. Like, we need Johnny Miller to be able to phone in next time Tommy Fleetwood's in contention. Just to be allowed to phone in, or bring in Zaner from the bullpen to start talking about him gagging or pressure. Like, I think Tommy Fleetwood probably is going to win. But if it wasn't today, if it wasn't Travelers, Keegan got him. Keegan went and got that too. But this was exceptionally poor, and it started early too. I don't want to just focus on 16, 17.
Yeah.
18 is bad. He drove, he missed his fairway, drove in the bunker, didn't really even give him a chance for birdie. But the real damage was 16 and 17. But early on, he's like hooking him hard in the trees, scrambling. He's missing every fairway. He was bad. He was bad today.
He was really bad all day Sunday. And the other point I did want to call out, I felt like an inflection point in the tournament. Maybe not in terms of it shifting the feel of the tournament, who was going to win, but a moment of insight into Tommy Fleetwood was Saturday night, 18. He hits his tee shot right into the rough, and he's got 180 in, and I believe, he's leading by 2 at that point in the tournament. And I think in the back of his head, he was thinking about his lead a little bit, and he just decided to lay it up out of the rough to 90 yards and leave himself a wedge in. And Bones had said, like, this lie is fine. The Bermuda rough is very penal, but it was like kind of a half Zoysia, half Bermuda lie, down grain, fine lie, 180 yards in, and just kind of pitching it out to leave himself a wedge in where he made bogey. Like, that is a very clear spot where you should be aggressive and hitting something up and around the green. Like, anyone with decent course management skills is sending it up there as long as the lie is fine.
There's no there's water on the tee shot, and there's nothing. I mean, there's bunkers. Like, there's nothing. There's no death blow
There's water left, but you can
Yeah.
hit something at the right side of the green. If it goes in the bunker, that's fine. That's way
Right.
better than having a 100-yard wedge in. Like, this is standard stuff. And it does kind of harken back to the Canadian Open, where Tommy Fleetwood took a little flack for a very conservative strategy into the 18th hole there as well, when he had a chance to win. So these decisions in a vacuum aren't necessarily the end of the world, but I do think it's a little bit revealing of a player who's maybe playing a little more not to lose than somebody that's actually stepping up and executing shots. I thought that layup on 18 on Saturday night was really weak. And those are the kinds of the decisions at the margins that, you go into Sunday with a 2-shot lead instead of a 1-shot lead. It changes things.
I mean, he was 4 up early in the week. Like, he had kind of been like, and so it wasn't like, we've seen him go low on a Sunday when he was to finish T4 before, like LA or Shinnecock or things like that. It kind of builds on itself, right? Where you're like, oh shit, I'm in front. I've never won on the PGA Tour. He had Thursday, he had Friday, he had Saturday. Like, it just built and built and built until Sunday. You're talking about the indecision, like the management, like the chip on 16 is like, I don't know. I didn't know if I should go high or low, went low and just rocketed it right through the green. And I mean, he was short, 18 at Travelers, right? Or was it 18? Where he didn't, and like Keegan then club right, picked the right. He was kind of indecisive,
short,
right?
Yeah, yes.
And
on the tee. Oh, you mean on the approach shot? Very.
Yes. And so, like, you see a little bit of this indecision. I don't know if it's playing not to lose. It might just be like, I don't have faith in myself that I can make the shot, so I'm going to do what I can to steer it around. Maybe that's the same thing. Distinction without a difference.
Yeah, I just felt like, again, you have 180 yards in from a decent lie in the rough.
Yeah.
It's very like, I'm going to punt on 4th and 2 in this NFL game and play defense to hit out to 100 yards there, and not smart. Where like I feel like the older crowd sitting on their couch sees him lay up, like, oh, that's smart play right there. Like, that's not smart play, and we're past that.
Yeah.
Every golfer in that spot who knows what they're doing course management wise is sending that up there. So I did think that was a pretty insightful moment.
I feel bad for him. It's
Me
not
too.
like I don't want to. It's absolute cinema. Like, when he gets in the lead right now, this harkens back to like Lexi when she would like be leading the Congo or Olympic or something. And I'm not suggesting he like self-immolates that bad, but sort of the stakes feel incredibly high when he's in the lead. You feel terrible. Like, you want him to get across the line. For all accounts, he's a talent and a consistent player that should have been across the line by now, at least once. And now it's become this sort of monster on his back. Is there any other storyline of someone who hasn't won that's like this at this point, where it's like the heartbreak cinema? I mean, Rory, we've dispatched with that.
Right.
PJ, anyone come to mind for you? Like, it is incredibly gripping, right?
Nobody comes to mind. I was saying just that I felt bad for Justin Rose as it was happening. If Tommy got across the line, that Justin Rose is just, holding every other European's hand, getting them across their own respective finish line to wherever they're trying to go.
Right. Yeah.
But there is nobody left at this point. When you go down the list of PGA Tour guys at this level without a win, I think the next name at this point is probably Denny McCarthy, who is not obviously in the tier of Tommy Fleetwood or even close to it.
No. Anyone for you, Joseph, that feels like this is like cinema when like they get in the arena?
Oh, I still feel that way about Pot Geeter.
What about it? Oh, like you don't know if he'll be able to find the club face or what the wedge or will be.
Yeah, like
10
if you
yards
told me
short or 100 yards long.
Yeah, that's different. I mean, he's won, but if you told me Sunday has a 2-shot lead and there's going to be some demanding short game shots, would I feel really good? I think it's similar cinema level.
Okay, that's fair. It was a very strong watch, but between Fleetwood and Scotty, Shane Ryan had a great tweet. It's like the nature documentary when like a hunter sees its prey, like when you see Scheffler, the best player of this era against a guy who can't get across the line. It wasn't Scheffler, thanks to the chaplain. He couldn't do it, more or less.
We'll say on Scotty, been struggling off the tee a little bit the last few weeks, just not hitting it quite as accurately. I know his strokes gained were high this week, but some uncharacteristically big misses. So I'm not saying he's vulnerable, super vulnerable, but he's been a little bit more vulnerable off the tee over the last month than what we've seen maybe in the last 18.
I guess he just won the Open by like 5 without.
Well, I'm not saying he stinks.
Okay. I mean, that was his last start, and then he almost won today. I don't know. He did struggle a little bit with his driver at times.
It's just something to watch for.
He had the lefts going early a little bit. A few of them big misses left. Not like Charlotte, but.
And on 15 was that was a horrible tee shot. I haven't seen him hit a tee shot that bad in a long time. I'm not saying this is the start of a Scotty Scheffler downturn. It's just like if you're trying to plot out the paths to him not winning a golf tournament, right now his driver's kind of the weakness.
Well, as they said on the broadcast, he was dealing with, this could have been offset by the Sunday Chaplain, but no FedEx Cup winner has won the St. Jude, the first event the next year. So there's all cosmic forces at play here.
That's what they
kept saying.
Who was saying that?
The broadcast was saying no FedEx Cup winner has then won the first playoff event the next year. I forget when it was, but it was either maybe ever or like a very long time ago.
Who
knows?
It
was ever.
Like, who cares?
Well,
what do you think is the NBC
we gotta make these
back in our lives? CBS is out, at Wyndham. NBC's back.
Joseph tweeted this.
It was so
I think actually got everybody on board with it. The drone tracer for the drives is the dumbest thing to exist in the history of golf broadcasting. I think it's worse. I think it's worse than the Aon risk reward, where the risk is don't hit it in the water and the reward is merely hit it on the green. I think the drone tracer, because it's not even right half the time.
Well, I got like ratioed for suggesting it had a bad look when it said essentially what I interpreted it to be was Justin Rose had hit it in the water. It was bright red, like Hurricane
a lot
Cat
of red
5,
for Rosie,
and it landed safely. But I got ratioed for saying like it's supposed to be in the fairway, so it's right. It didn't go in the fairway. Wasn't there like a yellow? Shouldn't I understand some distinction between bright red that's traveling over water?
I'm going to be honest. I hate to do this, but I didn't even see that on Twitter. I am with the ratioers on this one. I think you actually were wrong. And
because it landed on the first cut, it didn't land in the fairway.
Yes. And the red is more of a width. Like it was pretty far left probably of where they had like the Smart Tracer target, I would guess. But no, the Smart Tracer was correct on that one. It did not find the fairway.
It was incorrect on several others.
It was incorrect on his last one. It was like deep dark red on his last drive.
It's wrong. It's wrong on a lot of them. It was not wrong on that one. My bigger problem is I don't want to see anything in sports that tells me where the ball is about to go while I'm watching. If Steph Curry took a shot and a green light went off to tell you that it was going to go in, nobody would want that. Like that is my issue with it. It just removes the suspense. Sure, it's wrong too, but I don't want to know where the ball is going. That's part of watching the sport.
I mean, we've sort of been saying this since it debuted on CBS. I don't know. I'm not ready to like condemn it. It's incredibly cool technology that, okay, maybe it's not the way you want it to be additive to the viewing experience, but it was wrong today. It was wrong. It was wrong. I'll maintain you can't go bright red when the ball's traveling over a water hazard. You have to be yellow, maybe yellow if you're saying for like, come on, let's preposterous.
Yellow's like missing the fairway by a couple yards.
Which is what happened. It was in the step cut. What are you talking about?
It was way left though. It was way left of where it probably thought he was trying to hit it.
In the step cut. What do we suggest? Way left, like a yard from the fairway, whether it's way left or right.
It's a hard dog leg. All right. Dog legs are kind of hard for that kind of thing. I'll defend them a little bit.
If it's not going in the water when it's bright red, like a hurricane's coming to category 5, then it's wrong. I'm sorry. Like you guys can, technically this or that it's wrong. It's not helpful. It's misleading is what it is. And I don't know. I'm not ready to condemn it as being bad though.
The problem with it being red for just merely missing the fairway and also ending up in the water. Again, it's like the Aon risk reward. It's saying that missing the fairway and ending up in the water are the same thing. It's all red when that's not even close to the same thing.
Right. That's fair. But that one was actually wrong on several. Like But either right or wrong, you're out on it. It's too predictive.
Yes.
It's too
Out.
spoiler.
I'm sorry.
It takes away. I just show the ball. Show where it's landing.
Yeah, or have a shot tracer. Just don't tell me where it's going.
Yeah,
but honestly,
I like the drone shot. The drone shot is cool.
Yeah. I have way bigger issues with the NBC broadcast. I did think this past week was really bad and is highly concerning for what's coming at the Ryder Cup. The number of shots that were missed and how little insight is provided by anybody besides Bones. Bones provides some insight, but the number of times you hear that something's a bad break is completely out of control when there's nothing bad about the break. Scotty, just another bad break, and he's upset looking at his lie. They talked about how they think the storyline of JJ Spahn's hangover after the US Open is overplayed. Who has said that? I have not heard from one person that JJ Spahn's had a hangover since he won the US Open. I haven't heard that. He finished T14 at the Travelers, missed the cut at the Scottish, and finished T23 at the Open Championship.
Between that and no FedEx Cup winner has won the first event of the next year. This is just the superfluous and straw man central here.
It's just the number of commercials they show instead of in like prepackaged things versus what's going on. It was not good.
They got a lot. It's crowded. It's crowded between Hicks and Kisner have their booth. Then they kick it to Terry Gannon and Fax today, but they were put on ice or allowed to go to the bar as soon as the playoffs started. We never heard from them pretty much after 17.
They went to a two-shot of Dan and Kiz at one point. I think it might have been right before the playoff or as the final group was coming up 18. I don't remember when it was, but it was late. They were like sitting on top of each other. They were like shoulder to shoulder in the booth. I was like, guys, we can spread out a little bit. I was trying to figure out what was going on there.
They got to wear polos today, though, because it's 100 degrees and humid. Did you see that? They were allowed to wear their just golf shirts instead of the coat and tie. Yeah, it's crowded. I don't know. We're going to go to news when it sounds like they're going to get the U.S. Open again, which is fine. I don't know. I think did you feel like they were critical enough of Fleetwood? That's where I was getting to the Johnny and Zaner, and I know that's a different level of spitting hot takes sometimes. But
do you Bones, I think Bones does a good job of calling out some of the bad shots. I thought Kisner did a good job on 16 of explaining that Fleetwood's short game shot was really, really poor. Yeah. But in general, it's not teeming with insight. Like that, you're right. There's very little critique. There's not a lot of insight into what's happening. I don't know. It's just a lot of that was a bad break because it bounced and hopped to the right instead of going straight.
I liked when Scotty got the big fried egg. He thought the Sirens were going to start wailing. He's, this lawlessness in Memphis as he caught a horrible break with that fried egg lie. He just popped it on the green, ran it right down to whatever it was, 5 feet or something like that.
You also got the butterfly.
I saw that. The butterfly, just nuisance on the streets. The butterfly swooping around his swing. Ricky Fowler. Should we talk about Ricky Fowler? I read this tweet from Sundog Monkey, who I believe is a gambling person. Kirk playing with Ricky today and then taking 51st while Ricky finished his 48th brings into spotlight that Ricky is in and Kirk is out because of Ricky's sponsors exemptions. Basically an unfair fight. Simple solution. Whoever gets SIG event invites, so the sponsor exemptions, doesn't get FedEx points that week. Now, you'll recall I did an audit. I did a sponsors exemption audit on this very program at the Travelers Championship where we determined that Ricky Fowler's season points at that point, 66% of his season points, FedEx Cup season points, had come via sponsors exemption, via handouts to signature events. Now he's added a few more points. That 66% has gone down.
I have an updated audit.
I would say the Open. Where do you split the baby on the Open? He doesn't get in the Open if he doesn't top whatever. He doesn't do the Open qualifying series thing at the Memorial because he was the highest finisher, not otherwise exempt.
Correct.
Of course, a Memorial is a signature event, so most of those guys are exempt already. A lot of them. So he only had to finish 7th. It wasn't like 2nd or 3rd. And so then he goes and he does well. Like, he's played well. He played well today. He played well at the Open. So it's sort of I don't think it's easy to holler about it, but I don't know if it's as criminal as some claim to be. But a large portion of his FedEx Cup points, he played well, Lamagna. Like, he played very well today. Played well at the Open.
So could a lot of guys who weren't in the field this week, and we have no idea how they would have played.
Robert Garrigus said he could win any week. You never know.
Well, all right. Updated audit. Entering this week, he's earned 665 points. 319 of those, so 48%, were earned through the 6 sponsor exemptions he received. And Brendan, this quote shortly before we started recording, did you see his quote when asked about this today?
No, I haven't. What did he say?
This is a heck of a quote.
Okay.
Love the way Ricky phrases this. How impactful is it, Ricky, that you don't have to talk to tournament directors for signature events next year? That you're now in every event?
No.
Because today he's locked up top 50, all signature events. Listen to Ricky's quote here. He says, well, being that I got a handful of spots this year, which I'm incredibly grateful for, unfortunately, I really didn't take advantage of many of those opportunities up until Jack's event. I didn't play well in any of them. So those elevated fields and maybe some more points, I didn't really get them. But it was great to have a tee time in them this year and didn't really want to bank on that for next year. So
he got 85 at the Truist. He got 20 at Genesis. It's not nothing.
But what exactly, exactly what he's doing here. Trying to pretend like those didn't impact him this year. Like, I got a handful of them. He got 6. It wasn't like he got 3. But I didn't even really get any points in them. He's trying to downplay how much of a factor those were in him retaining his status. It was a huge factor.
Like, also, he's not like 17th in the FedEx Cup. No. He just got in at 48. Like, yeah. we're not talking about like a lot of points here. Right?
No.
And we're talking about maybe the combination of those 3 or 4 quote unquote bad events where he got tee times might be the difference. Between Chris Kirk, poor boy Chris Kirk, having to watch Ricky, the rich man Ricky, just kind of wander about and cruise to the other side of the cut line, the 50 cut line. And now he's safe.
The putts he was making down the stretch were getting him like right in that bubble. So yes, the 176 points he got at Memorial, like that played a significant factor. If he doesn't get those, maybe he adds another tournament somewhere and wins or something. We'll never know. But I'd say a very strong chance that he's not in the top 50 if he doesn't get that sponsor exemption.
In addition to Ricky, who jumped in was Bud Cauley to 46th, Kitayama all the way up to 37th, who just won in Minnesota, JT Poston right on the 50 line, and Johnny Vegas gets into 49th. So 5 move in. I think it felt more volatile. Maybe that's how it normally is for this second to last.
It's about normal
cut. And then out is Wendy Clark, 56th in FedEx Cup, season over. He can now go to doing community service and counseling per Oakmont, management committee instructions. Jake Knapp, 55th. Superstar Jake is gone. Minwoo Lee, who played in 2 hours and 10 minutes as a solo, there is a prime sponsors exemption candidate for next year. He doesn't have those guaranteed Siggy events lockup because he's out. Aldrich Potgieter, I would argue, is probably another one. Burly boy, good player, young talent. He might get some signature event sponsors exemptions. And Jordan Spieth, 54th, also moved out. He is probably another candidate for a round of signature event sponsors exemptions next year. Minwoo is for sure going to be one, I would say, but Spieth as well. Those are your 5 out. Where are you with Jordan Spieth?
Where am I with Jordan Spieth?
He bogeys the last. I don't know if it was like the determinative thing. He probably needed a little bit more because he was 54th. It wasn't like he was 51st, 52nd. But it was NBC, by the way, they had Bubble Tracker. Did you like that? Bubble Tracker on top of the leaderboard. I thought that was a nice little gizmo. Okay. So they had that as the line moved around 50 all day.
I think it's pretty... I don't have anything particular. It should be clear what Jordan Spieth is at this point. He's an average PGA Tour player. That is what he is right now. Hasn't won in a while. His last win was, is that 2022? The RBC 2022? Yeah. Last one was the RBC Heritage in 2022.
I remember that. Yep.
He's not bad. He's not embarrassing. He wouldn't be uncompetitive on the Ryder Cup team, but he does not deserve a spot. It's very clear that all of the golfers in consideration with Jordan Spieth have played much better than he has. He's had a fine season. He is a middle-of-the-road PGA Tour player right now.
He's not lost strokes in a PGA Tour start. He's been positive since Genesis per Data Golf and was again this week, was again today.
They give you trophies for that?
Spieth hasn't lost adjusted strokes since the Genesis this year, and he'll end up around +7 this week. But it's hard to see him getting a Ryder Cup spot, given how far down the points list he is, 27th, and not playing the next 2 weeks.
Well, you can't count the points list because he doesn't have any points from last year, and he didn't have any points from the beginning of the year. So,
what do they say? PJ, a starting quarterback can't lose his job when he's injured, right?
No,
I think that's pointless. Jordan Spieth has proven himself to be a stalwart on American teams for a decade plus now, going back to the 2013 P Cup at Muirfield Village. Stalwart. He's only missed one, Melbourne. I think that 27th is not reflective. You can't, quarterback doesn't lose his starting job, I guess, unless you're Drew Bledsoe, maybe, something like that. And I think, the injury, we have to take that into account. Here I am arguing, litigating for, advocating for Jordan Spieth to be on the Ryder Cup team, as we won't see him. He's been plus pot strokes gained. I love throwing.
What does that mean?
He
missed the cut at the PGA.
I'm here.
Give me a break.
Serving as a public defender for this is the case I've been given.
That's a terrible case.
He's got great rapport. He's been in the arena and done well. Like, I think we talk about his middling PGA Tour record since, I don't know, 2018. And we conflate that with he's done well at the team events when Zach Johnson doesn't get in the way. But he's been a pretty good player at all of these team events. Go ahead.
I think you're probably overstating how good he's been in recent team competitions. He's been fine. But beyond that, I think what Europe captures, and people like Dodo Molinari, is that form is one of the best predictors of how somebody is going to play in the Ryder Cup. So if you give me Justin Rose, you're telling me Justin Rose is in form? I know what that could look like. He's turned it on both in team competitions and this year recently. Tell me Jordan Spieth hasn't lost adjusted strokes in the last however many weeks, but he's not been relevant in any tournaments. I think what that tells you is he has a bunch of T28s. Is that impressive?
No, I look. You are going on.
How many adjusted strokes has Scotty gained?
You're going on something a little different here. You're going on, the same reason that
you're going on a tie. You're going on a tie for third in a PGA Championship that was 6 years ago. Is what you're going on.
Among other things, I mean, the Euros were going to put Rose on the team regardless of what happened.
Justin Rose was in a playoff in the Masters this year. They put
Poulter on. They put Poulter on the team because they lean on, they just go with the guys.
But that spot is already Patrick Cantlay's. You can't do two of those spots.
I think he's in the mix. He's done himself no favors. You have to at least make it to the BMW. I think he screwed himself today. I think he was probably had a spot to lose. He was up for a strong candidacy. I think he screwed himself, not even getting to the BMW.
It's also when some of those Poulter and Sergio picks, those golfers weren't playing badly coming into the event. Right now, Spieth is not. He hasn't made any noise in a meaningful tournament this year.
We're done. I mean, he's done. We're going to see him at Napa, maybe.
I mean, he finished in fourth at the Byron Nelson. He was 15 shots back, but it was a solo fourth,
running away that day.
Positive adjusted strokes.
This is when we do a little bit of the over-analysis on the Ryder Cup roster because there's only so many weeks to go. Feels like Cam Young's pretty solid, pretty solidified. Goddard feels like he's in trouble.
Boy, I wish I had your confidence. I don't feel like Cam Young's solid at all.
I mean, the Morikawa thing, all right, he had a good couple rounds and then just completely abdicated today, finished 25th or something like that. And a 69-man field.
Shot over par.
I think he should be in the crosshairs, but I think the last time we talked about this, Lamani, you said he was a lock, but feels like it's coalescing around Cameron Young, and Goddard has sort of lost some footing. This is how we go week to week at this point. And you talk about form, it gets really, really granular. I think the big question, like the total nightmare disaster, is Keegan. I mean, Keegan, on Monday of Travelers, we're like, well, he's in. He's absolutely one of the 7 best American players right now. And it's just gotten much more crowded at the back half of the field. And he's not done a whole lot. What did he finish? 42nd today? Somewhere around there, 44th, I think, at Memphis. So he's through, but God, that's the one. It feels like he's going to take himself over one or two pretty strong candidates.
To be clear on Morikawa, in saying he's a lock, I think that's because they'll leave him off. That's different from
in points. Yeah.
Yeah. Do I think there should be a conversation about if he doesn't play well the next few weeks, leaving him off? Yeah. I mean, this is not good golf from him. But if he just shows anything, then he's not going to get left off of the team realistically. But to your point about Keegan, I think we're sort of just talking about the 12th spot. I think Ben Griffin is in the 10th spot, and then I think Cameron Young should be in the 11th spot. Not necessarily yet, but I think he should be there. So then we're talking about 12 is basically Keegan, Burns, Goddard, maybe somebody like a McNeely. So we'll see what happens at the BMW Championship. It's probably going to come down to that. Certain guys not making it to Eastlake.
Okay, so you have JT, Colin Morikawa, Cantlay you have in there.
Yeah.
That gets us to 9. Then you have Griffin and Cameron Young, 10, 11. And then the 12th spot is what? Keegan, Burns,
Goddard,
Novak. No, probably not in there anymore.
Novak's played his way into like fringe consideration. Spieth, I mean, Spieth's done though. If you're not playing the BMW, you should not be considered anymore.
I think it's going to be Burns, Keegan, Spieth. And Keegan's going to take himself.
Oh, that's so gross. If it's Burns, Keegan, and Spieth over...
For one spot? I don't know. I'm looking
at it. I thought you meant over Griffin and Cameron Young.
No. I'm thinking for this one spot. I don't know. I could see Griffin getting elbowed out too.
I don't... Not after the last couple of weeks. I have been worried about that, but because he kind of hit a lull for a little bit, but he's been very good again. I don't think you can leave him off at this point. It was not just a hot 6 weeks in May.
I don't disagree. I'm just telling you like what you think on the podcast and what the process might entail. It could be 2 different things. It's an exhibition. Can we just add that? It's a total exhibition. And if we're being honest, Jordan Spieth brings more to an exhibition that is just a giant cash cow entertainment product than look, you shaking your head. I'm not suggesting it's right or virtuous.
Let's just take Ricky. Ricky's in signature events next year. Let's just take Ricky Fowler.
There was someone made a case for Ricky on the Beth page on the broadcast today. I forget who mentioned it. I did like
they did.
I did like Kevin Kisner had a quip about Smiley being like he said it's like a C- lie, and Kisner's like
that was
you
very
would know
funny.
something about C-, and it went over Smiley's head. He didn't get it. Like he didn't get that he was making a joke about his grades.
That was very good.
He was like, oh, I get it. I think Hicks or something. I think he was talking about your grades there. Smiley's like, oh yeah, that too. The fact that it went over his head was also amusing. Yeah, not a bad moment. Okay, we'll keep doing Ryder Cup check-in. We'll keep doing it. Griffin's a lock in your world.
I just don't. I don't really love throwing the word lock around for no reason. Like you don't have to make the picks until when.
That's
but
fair.
I don't know. Just in general, I think you're defending the old. You're coming around to the boys' club type stuff way more than I expected.
I'm a realist. I'm not like it's not because I think it's good and what should happen. I think have seen this happen before in the grasp of the process. I think the Euros generally do the boys club thing, but just do it in a way that
they also
feels more genuine and targeted towards success. I don't know why it does, but like Bernd Wiesberger, no, you're not coming. Marunk, no, you're not coming. We're going with the old standby. But they do bring in like form, like you said, but they just do it. They take the guys that have been there before.
But they probably discount some of the weak field performances that Bernd Wiesberger and other players similar to that in the past, Adrian Marunk, they're not posting those in strong, big, often PGA Tour fields. So that is part of it, that they know how to account for strength of field. That's not a vibes thing.
They also they knew when to move on. They knew when to turn the page on the old guard to this new guard now, and I have more faith that they're going to know when to walk away from the Rory, Tyrrell Hatton, certainly Justin Rose is done after this, like that next group, and figure out where the Højgaards are 2 years from now. Like they know when to cut bait on the old guys at the same time.
I feel bad for Keegan. I feel like he's wanted to get back to this since 2014, and now it's like the most icky possible scenario. I think he's probably going to take himself.
Well, the best part is this was a completely avoidable situation.
Right. Put himself in a bad spot.
One thing that's accepting the captaincy,
or by even just saying that you were only going to play if you qualified, and then you won, and you immediately started backtracking on it.
That's fair. I just feel like people are overstating how much of like a controversy this is. This is not that big of a deal yet.
Well, it's going to be a huge deal if they lose, which I feel like is what he ultimately should be concerned about.
Yeah, but not until picks are made. Like, what if he wins next week?
Keegan?
Yeah.
That's why we talk about this. We talk about these things from week to week. Like Goddard was, we got to take him in July 20th. And, things change quickly. One other avoidable situation in your life is grooves with schmutz in them. You got junky grooves on your golf clubs. You can go to the grooveitbrush.com and use the promo code FRIEDEGG for 15% off any purchase. They make the top rated golf brushes in the market. PJ has one. Will has one. Will says there's a whole cult of people who swear by these things. There's a cult for everything these days. There's a cult for golf club brushes. But you can get the original Groove It brush, which holds water to spray and scrub your clubs all in one. They've got the Mini G, which is a smaller brush without water that so many players on tour use. You can watch them on the range at any event. They've got them there. A lot of them clip them to their belt, right? You just clip it, and then they do the quick scrub there all in one. They feature heavy-duty nylon bristles, straw and magnet for maximum mobility and no hassles, no lanyards or chains to mess with. And they can be purchased online or at your favorite golf retailer. So there's brick and mortar deal, but you can't get the promo code FRIEDEGG at grooveitbrush.com. That's grooveitbrush.com. The promo code is FRIEDEGG for 15% off any purchase. That's any purchase. So get the little guy, get the original, whatever you want. People swear by these things. grooveitbrush.com. Promo code is FRIEDEGG for 15% off. All right, I think that does it. Anything other cleanup from Memphis you want to get to? I mean, every tournament right now is a proxy for Ryder Cup debate. I'm sure the tour doesn't love it that way, but felt like sort of a Sunday was awesome, but it felt like sort of a sleepier playoffs. And by that, I mean, there was less commitment to like promo and goofy bullshit that the tour usually does around their playoffs. No? Yes?
Maybe. Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I think my overall amusement from the just like observing social media and stuff the last couple of weeks is we just have the same exact arguments year over, like everyone doing the playoffs, how to fix the playoffs.
Yeah, I don't.
Tweets.
That was what I said on Friday. It's like I don't like they're fine, but I have more fatigue about the how to fix discussion than the actual playoffs themselves. Now
it's just fine. International golf and why you can't go to. It's just the same debates that we have in golf for decades, it seems like. So I've just been amused at the playoff discourse. Like, they are what they are.
It was hot and sweaty. And they stink. It could have been better. It could have been but it was fine. Sunday was good. It just felt like there was sleepier. Does that feel that way to you, PJ? I don't know. Just felt like a little less promotion, a little less emphasis. The leaderboard kept breaking. It was funny. The leaderboard was malfunctioning late Sunday. But no, it felt less
I feel like on social there was definitely less push. Maybe we're saving it all for Eastlake with the Creator Classic coming up, but I did not feel like we got hit over the head. I saw one social video this morning. Joseph, you're probably more familiar with this trend, where they do it overseas, where they throw the soccer goal down and kick balls at random people, and you have to see if you can score it, like walking down the street or whatever. They did one where they had like a chipping mat set up, and they were just throwing a golf club at people.
Confused.
I actually thought that was kind of funny. If you have seen those soccer, or they do basketball ones sometimes, I thought that was actually like kind of good content.
That was lost on me. Okay, all right. Yeah, well, we're off. There was a lot of FedEx. God, they put FedEx crap everywhere. There's just trucks, like, randomly dropped in the middle of the property. The plane is flying overhead.
There's a moment of silence.
The offices are showing. They drone the office park next to the Jason office park. It's just a lot of FedEx stuff going on there. But yeah, an asterisk with the chaplain involved. No Rory. I don't think you can give it a full allotment of points. Elsewhere in golf, LIV Chicago, Mean Dean Burmeister beats John Rahm and Jose Ballester in a playoff at Bolingbrook. The Stinners win the team event. They beat Torquay in a playoff. Was this 2-on-2, PJ? You had some details about the playoff. It was 2 players from Torquay against 2 Stinners. And the Stinners, they sweep, individual and team.
The Stingers both made birdie, and Mr. Liv, number 1 player in the world, Joaquin Niemann, made a par. Unfortunately, hung Carlos Ortiz out to dry. So it was a 6-7 win for Stingers in the team playoff. I actually kind of think that's cool. How it's combined score. I kind of love that.
Yeah, I think that's not a bad format. Seemed like the crowds were pretty good. I know we've Bolingbrook seems like a complete unserious venue choice for any pro golf circuit, but that's where they go. I don't know. They've somehow managed to find some defenders. Even the LIV stands or bots will defend Bolingbrook.
They were talking up Indy heavy, Joseph. They're like they think Indy is going to be the great awakening.
We did get some more intel there about it seems like they're scrambling to get that in shape, right, Joseph? Like sod and stuff going down, but you deal with what you got to deal with.
I don't want to. I told you my source on that was about as unreliable as it gets, so I do not want to.
Well, I got a second one that said there's some issues, but it looks like big crowds. Honest to God, like I don't know, big. I don't want to like overstate it. It might still be 50% of what they get at PGA Tour events, or 20%. The ratings are what they are. They're not very good. Nobody's watching, but it does seem like the on-site experience is not. It's different. It's interesting, and it seems like they're going to cook Chicago, Indy, and Michigan. It seems like they might do all right.
Indianapolis will do well. That is a town that craves big events and has a massive sports fan, so that'll crush. I think my biggest takeaway from LIV Chicago, Brendan, is let's see what kind of impact this tournament had, because when you drew up LIV Golf in a lab, it was exactly this. It was big city that's underserved, shorter 54 holes, so that more tournaments, more excitement at the end. They had a 3-way playoff, John Rahm, Ballester, and Mean Dean, plus a team playoff back-to-back. Like, that is exactly what was concocted in the lab. So let's see what kind of impact it had and how much people paid attention to it, because I don't think an event can get better than that.
I took a screenshot on Friday at like 11 p.m. I was like checking in on stuff after a day out on the lake. And granted, this is a third of the way. And his DJ was 1. He finished like 25th. It was terrible. DJ, Sergio were tied first. They had Koepka, Phil, Hatton, Burmeister, Bryson, and Rahm. That's an insane leaderboard they had. It didn't materialize that way. You had Bryson, you had Rahm, obviously, in the playoff. But that is exactly, you talk about what they would hope for, draw up in a lab. They kind of got that early leaderboard, and then the weekend, some drama. I don't know. I watched an interview with Colin Cowherd. Did you guys see that?
Too. Yeah.
I mean, granted, he's in a LIV hat. He's literally wearing an LIV hat. think he still works for Fox, right?
Yes,
FS1, like he's
that
got
is
an
the-
association with the
yes.
rights partner. I don't know that he has done the field research to speak in such authoritatively as he did, but I have heard, especially from the DC people, that the crowd is so much younger, and he was hammering that, like just a different younger crowd. And I heard that from people who actually went to DC and had maybe less of skin in the game than Coward. Did you watch that Coward interview, PJ?
Yeah, I thought it was. I mean, it seemed like a Fox plant experience to me when I watched it. I didn't really feel I wasn't moved too much by it. I wonder if Jason McIntyre is going to be sitting on his couch across the room from Colin tomorrow on the Herd screaming about it. So,
Live that.
however, Colin's a great voice in sports, so it's nice to see him out and about. But I don't know how much stock I'm putting into that.
Congrats to Mean Dean, one of the few guys who's really gone to live and just had like a totally. Apparently, is just into it, loves it, loves the being on. South Africa got an event last week. They announced that, loves being on the team, has done well for himself, and is into the competitive elements for it. So
also, we a lot of talk about playing captains on this episode so far. Shout out to Louis, didn't pick himself for the team playoff. Had his third teammate in the individual playoff.
Yeah,
putting the team before the self. That's Louis, Grand Slam runner up, knows what it's like to sit on the side while other guys get trophies. So that's good for him.
Love that. Elsewhere,
also Ballester smashes it.
Ballester kind of rules.
He's pretty good. He's pretty good.
He hits very far. Growing out of the branding of guy who peed and raised creek.
I don't think. I think it's on us to make sure that he doesn't outgrow that branding.
That's fair.
But,
that's fair.
But they were putting out like huge clips and a lot of talk about drives going crazy number. Like Bryson hit one like 430 or something insane.
Wow.
Like I feel like. Well, I'm saying what the LIV tweets said. I'm not confirming or denying this, but I will say that I did see a lot of talk of bombs away at Bolingbrook. So I can't wait to see how Andy feels about all of it.
It's just like Dell match play though. Like when you get the certain holes that go way down the hill and
that go downhill.
Windy and firm.
Interesting. Yeah. DJ, he hit a ball 477 yards or whatever it was. Oh, okay.
At the U.S. Women's Am, congrats to Mean Dean. Mega Gane, as we're recording, just wrapped it up. She wins the U.S. Women's Am. She was 4 down with 7 to play in the semis on Saturday night, rallies and wins in 19th hole. She beat Aussie Ella Scarsbrook. And then she beats Brooke Bierman, the Michigan State alum, in the final, 4-3. In the final at Bandon Dunes. This was great sort of cocktail golf. I watched it every night, actually, from the lake. Watched it tonight after Rosie stuff petered out. When they came on the air, Ella Skabrook, I should say, is her name. She was 4 down with 7 to play and came back on her 1 at 19th hole. Bierman won at 19th hole as well. She had a lead and then lost it, 1 at 19th hole. Gane has been like in our lives for what feels like 10 years. She made the semis as a 15-year-old, right? And I think it was 19 maybe. She of course then like totally broke out the 21 U.S. Women's Open at Olympic, still as a high schooler in Jersey. And she's been around. She's been in Anwa. She's top 10. She's never like had a big win. She's never had like was really good young, has these top 10s and these semifinalists and these things like that. But this is like her first big solo win. Obviously has done damage at Stanford as a team, and it's as big as it gets winning the U.S. Women's Am at Bandon Dunes. When breeze was blowing, NBC or Golf Channel, they do so. I mean, I guess it's not hard, but they do great when it's like a very contained universe of golfers, match play. That may not happen at the Ryder Cup. I know you're anxious, Joseph, but they had Jimmy Gallagher out there throwing balls around, showing the humps and bumps of and the approaches at Bandon Dunes. And then Burka was great on the call. So that was good golf. I enjoyed watching Gane, but she hasn't won. She didn't have that big solo title. Now she's got the biggest U.S. women's golf or amateur golf. So congrats to her. Elsewhere, at the Nexo Championship, Grant Forrest wins. I know everybody's watching this early in the morning. He got a FaceTime from President Donald Trump. Did you see this? I watched this on social media. I was like trying to think. I was, pondering around in my head earlier. Like, what's the most like random name some Euro Tour C-level guys that are suddenly talking to the most powerful person in the world? It's like kind of insane. Now, of course, this is at Trump's golf course in Scotland, but the fact that he's FaceTiming Grant Forrest on a Sunday in August was sort of mind-blowing to me. Grant Forrest, I guess, is now one at the Fairmount St. Andrews and Trump Aberdeen. So, like, these two, he's great on sort of the fake links,
I loved how they had him, like, in away from the camera, so he posed for the picture, and he had, like, the full body as he was golfing on the camera. Like, that was my favorite part.
FaceTiming, shouting at the phone. So it's not. Is it FaceTiming if you're like not holding the phone to your face? If
somebody else is recording you, then I think it goes into a video call aspect. Yeah. But that was my favorite part, is that you had to get the whole fit in head to toe. That was great.
I was thinking like the universe of like, what if he's just talking to Adrian Otaegui? Who are these like random European tour players that suddenly find themselves talking to Donald Trump on a Sunday afternoon? But Grant Forrest is your winner. Did you see the putt by Connor Syme? This became sort of catnip. He was about 40 feet from the hole, back of the green, downwind, downhill, and hit it 100 yards down the fairway, off the front of the green. People, the bombastic headlines was like, this is the worst putt of all time. It was bad. I was very bad. Like, the thing was going 100 miles an hour as it hit the pin. So sometimes you can like hit it too hard and then it trundles away. Like, it just hits the ridge and goes. That thing was flying at the hole. Like, it was flying by. I don't know that it was horrible. I can understand it's downwind, downhill. It was bad.
Yeah, I'm not just going to try to argue it's good. The first time I saw it, I was amused. I think the 12th or 15th time I saw it, I was less amused. But it was a downwind putt, downhill, downwind, where, it ended up like 80 yards from the hole or whatever, but it rolled off the front of the green, and that's when it started to – it probably went like 60 yards from the front of the green. Like, yeah, that's how slopes work. It was a bad putt.
That's how slopes.
But I mean, come on. It's not like he was
he got aggregated.
He didn't put it 60 yards off the front of a green at Sawgrass.
It was just going very fast. It wasn't something that trickled over the ridge and then went down the hill, 100 yards down the hill. Right, PJ? What's your ruling?
Putt.
I agree with Joseph in that.
Thank you, PJ.
After you saw it 15 times, it kind of got old. The first time I saw it, I was amused.
Yeah. But it was a little shocking the first time you saw it.
Yeah, it got blown out of proportion quickly. I would argue.
Nexo Championships viral moment, I guess, until the president got involved.
I feel like people are doing the like epic fail thing, and it's like it wasn't like an epic fail.
No. Okay.
It was about as bad as a shank.
He went boom, touch them all. Went the yard, left the yard.
I will say, like, I don't know if I've ever seen it that bad before on a putt, but I didn't need to see it 25 times.
Over Club Challenge. On the Corn Ferry Tour, Christo Lamprecht.
Big boy.
Holds out from, he's not big. He's lanky. He's tall.
He's tall.
Big connotes something different. Pinnacle, wins the Pinnacle Bank Championship in Omaha. So he's back on the winning path. He's like curious, like career decisions, right? He had the Masters exemption after winning the amateur and just turned pro. And people thought, well, why did he do that? He must be joining LIV. He must be showing up on the LIV roster, maybe the South African roster. He's taking, and he never did. He never did do the LIV thing. But now he's on the KFT and he gets.
Well, there's no room on the Bolingbrook Team Champions tickets.
That's fair. Lamprecht, he's one of these speed demon guys. He popped at Hoylake too, right? Mm-hmm. Remember early at Hoylake before Harmon became the story there. On the seniors, the Boeing Classic, I believe Stephen Allen is our winner out in Snoqualmie. PJ, anything of note?
2 out of his last 2 out of his last 3 starts, 3 wins this year for Steve Allen. So, player of the year races, you got a lot of guys with multiple wins, a lot of guys with 3 wins. Padraig, you got to look at strength of field. Dick Open win for Steve Allen without Padraig there because he was playing the Scottish is it's interesting, but gonna be an interesting player of the year race. I would say a lot of multiple time winners, not spreading the love around. But I will say
is not a word I would use. But go ahead.
It's
maybe
interesting
in your
to me.
All right.
And then I will say that Monday Q Ryan French said that they might be getting rid of Champions Tour Q School. We might be cutting that in the budget cuts from PGA Tour Enterprises. So gonna have to see how
I've got $1.5 billion to use. What
it's literally
is that breaking the
5
bank?
Guys.
They probably have
5 guys.
Some course that gives them the course for free in Florida somewhere.
It's at Scottsdale. At least it was last year.
Okay, all right.
They own the course.
Why is a hilarious question to why they're reducing the number of Q School spots for Champions Tour. There are definitely answers to why.
Steve Allen's won 3 times this year?
Yeah.
God, you could have fooled me. I just didn't commit those to memory, I guess. But he's got another one at the Boeing Classic. That's good. Good for them. News. Not a lot of news. John Oran had a report in Puck, his newsletter there in Puck, that NBC and Versant. Is it Versant or Versant? I listened to a media podcast, and even the fancy media boy reporter went back and forth for Versant and Versant. I think they need a pronunciation guide for this thing. Don't know.
I thought it was Versant, but I feel like the less we have to end up pronouncing it, probably the better. I'm good. I'm down to just go Spinco for the rest of eternity.
We could do that.
Honestly,
NBC and Spinco near USGA renewal, according to John Oran. USGA is close to re-upping its rights deal with NBC. Several sources told me, which would keep the U.S. Open and Women's Open on the broadcast network, USA and Golf Channel. New agreement is expected to be announced later this month. Also marks Versant's or Spinco's first sports rights deal. Mark Lazarus led company. All right, whatever. We know that. Terms have been tough to nail down, but the USGA is expected to get close to $93 million annual average that Fox paid 12 years ago. Fox did that 12-year, $1.1 billion deal that kind of blew everyone's mind at the time, which included all the USGA championships. Then they got rid of it in 2020, and NBC picked it up for about $40 million a year. So NBC's had a pretty sweet deal doing USGA championships for $40 million. That might be going back upwards closer to $100 million a year, which, seems. I honestly was surprised. I'd heard this was not trending away from NBC. These things could be week to week, like Ryder Cup spots, but it's the prognosis for NBC seemed not great, but according to Rand, they're close. He also added Netflix put in a real serious bid. ESPN, CBS, Warner Brothers, Discovery also kicked the tires, but none at the level of Netflix which would have been interesting.
That would have been interesting.
Would have been amazing to see who they hired to
Well, I was just gonna say, I mean, it's some. I don't know if anybody really talks about it at this point, but it is so weird to go back and watch and remember that Joe Buck used to do golf. Joe Buck does nothing at this point other than Monday Night Football, which I think is just a shame. But it's a shame for us because I think Joe Buck is better than a lot of football and baseball that we have at this point. But Joe Buck doing U.S. Opens is just a wild subplot. I feel that we don't.
Almost nothing, PJ, brings me more pleasure than rewatching one of the old U.S. Opens on Fox, and it's Gil Hands being interviewed by Holly Saunders, and it's just what a moment in time.
I mean, you had Buck and Norman in the tower for the first one at Chambers. Yeah. That didn't last very long. So Holly Saunders and Gil, that happened.
Oh, I tweeted it recently.
I know they were both on it. I didn't know that they were together. Was Holly asking about sort of the drainage and the humps and bumps of the turf and the conditioning?
I think it was an architecture-based conversation,
I
thankfully.
would hope so. With Gil Hanse. So yeah, I guess going to Versant, NBC.
Well,
Are you concerned?
It's interesting, given that Kevin Kisner has decided to at least partially blame Oakmont for Wyndham Clark's actions. That
Well, I don't think that was going to factor into the deal.
I don't know. I think it's interesting.
USGA asked for another $5 million per year or something because of Kisner's
I think it's
comments.
interesting. If Wyndham Clark might not be there in 2030, will Kevin Kisner be there? I think it's interesting to discuss.
Look at you, Lavanya.
I hope if they do get it, it indicates a broader commitment to telecasting golf well, and that bleeds its way into what they're currently broadcasting, because I think it could use a little work.
He just sent me a screenshot of Holly and Gil in studio. What a moment in time. The whole the 2010 to 2020 like moment of like golf television, whether it was like Golf Channel programming or the event programming, there's some really interesting combos. Netflix getting it would have led to just
that would have been
total chaos. That would have been personalities.
Chaos.
Like,
and
God,
because I mean, you look at what they did for the football, like Christmas games. They were just picking anybody and everybody with a pulse. I mean, that could have been
Grant
insane.
Horvat, sideline reporter.
Yeah,
on
it would have been
a lock. A lock.
I was trying to think of what creators would have been in there. So, all right, I think that does it. Anything else?
One other piece of news.
Yeah.
Did you see Tony Finau switched golf balls to the
did.
double
We
dot?
talked about this on Friday.
Well, yeah. So, didn't go super well this weekend for Mr. Pitts.
Well, I will say it did go well for one player. That 40.
You call him Mr. Pitts.
Don't even say it's 40.
Yeah,
40 worked with one player last week on the double dot, who once again finished in the top 5 of an event. So maybe it's you. Would you say this is user error on Tony Finau's part? Because last week, some people, I won't name names, maybe some people on this recording right now, thought it was all about the golf ball, picking up an extra yard. But now other guys got the golf ball, and that guy's still playing well. But Tony Finau is almost DFL. I think
might
that's
be the person swinging the club, PJ.
I think that's interesting.
Finau stinks. I don't even know like what he is anymore. You know,
he's not on the Ryder Cup bubble. We can cross that one off.
Yeah, he's done. I feel
he's high on the list of disappointments this year. He's been flat out bad.
Double dot, no dot, whatever dot. He's done. His season's over. All right, I think that does it.
Before we go, I would be remiss if I did not get a statement on Shadur Sanders from you.
I mean, he looked good. He might be the future. I think we have it. I don't know. It was incredible, but Christ, it's August 8th or whatever the game was. He's not going to be the starter. Like the reporters, like people, now they have to bat back the fans. Like he will not be starting week 1 for the Browns. This like, please, this is not happening. He might make the team and be, but I love it. Nike had an ad with the time. What do you mean? Like, what was the caption was absurd. Like, you just had to wait for your time or something.
Designer from Nike had to spend this week making a Shadur Sanders ad and also a Tommy Fleetwood ad that did not see the light of day. The same guy probably
you
made
think the same guy was on Shadur and Tommy?
They probably told him not to work too hard on Tommy's yet.
Look, I mean, preseason football, which the greatest, one of the great marketing cons at the NFL, and they're the best at it, is just abolishing the word exhibition season and making it preseason. Like you have to call it preseason.
You think that was a roll-apism? You think we're going to start seeing some of those?
Could have been. It's exhibition football, and Shadur looked fine. People gamble on this and get so into it.
We need to put a stop to all training camp stats. The next time I have to hear about someone's completion percentage in a practice, it's worse than a FedEx Cup fact. Or adjusted strokes. How many rounds of adjusted strokes gained?
For 11 against the Pats in a scrimmage, not even the preseason game, but a scrimmage. It's not good. That's not good. What do you think, PJ? What do you make of Shadur?
I mean, I think he looked good.
That's all you can say.
If I'm Dylan Gabriel, I'm worried. I'll say
well,
that.
It sounds like he can't throw it in the ocean, Dylan Gabriel. He couldn't hit the broadside of a building. He sounds terrible, which we knew.
No, but for a team with 6 quarterbacks on the roster currently, I'm glad that you might have one functioning one, maybe. I love the shots of Joe on the sideline, Flacco just beaming, smiling.
He was laughing.
That he might only have to play like 2 games and he could get out of here.
I think Joe knows what's going on. He's happy for Shadur. But
it would be incredible of Joe Flacco, historical asshole to the quarterbacks he's supposed to mentor, quote unquote, was not like the direct mentor to Lamar, did not have a apparently great relationship with Zach Wilson. If Shadur Sanders was the one to get the Joe Flacco stamp of approval, would be incredible.
He's bringing him along. He's going to coach him up.
Anthony Richardson. I mean, that was a real contention situation last year. Incredible if Joe Flacco finally puts his stamp on Shadur Sanders of all people.
Well, there was that screenshot of Dylan Gabriel and Deshaun Watson. I didn't know he was still around or allowed to be around on the bench, looking like morose as Shadur.
Honestly, like forgot that guy existed.
Yeah, he's got some hat on that like DW is it. I didn't even know. They shouldn't allow him to be around. And then it's Flacco, though, is beaming. He's happy. I don't know.
Pro Bowler Snoop Huntley. You're brimming with quarterbacks out there.
We somehow have the insane depth chart. We're still signing guys for the preseason team because we had 5 guys in the room already. It's like just adding bodies. It's like Ryder Cup debates in September, in February. Like, I don't know.
Matt McNeely, number 10 in the world right now.
Yeah, you don't know who can I throw out there. Akshay is going to do it this year. JT Poston might be coming for a spot this year. He's playing well in the West Coast swing. Like that's the kind of Michael Kim. That's what we're talking about. Snoop Huntley. We just throw more names into the quarterback room. But it's become this total circus. Like he threw for 3 touchdowns.
Well, the confrontation with the radio guy in the tunnel was amazing.
That guy sucks. He has confrontations with everybody. That's not a Shadur thing. That guy, he's the common denominator. But he's this cultural like beacon. Shadur. And so people
you see the video of the Panthers fans from the stands celebrating with him after the first touchdown when he went into the corner of the end zone and flashed a watch, and all the Panthers fans behind him were doing the same thing.
Doing the watch thing. That is funny. That cracks me up that that's going to become I mean, honest to God, I'm old enough. My son who is 12 when so we want to do the watch thing, we're getting swept up. We're at minute 100, minute hour and a half here.
I think people would have been disappointed if we didn't have Shadur minutes, so please go.
My son is 12. We're talking about getting swept up in the watch thing. When he was 2-ish, 1.5-ish, we own a T-shirt that I put on my 2-year-old to walk around the neighborhood with Johnny Football doing the fingers thing.
Hell yeah.
And it's 2, and it's like Johnny Football. And my son was conditioned to do this, like Johnny Football when he rubs his fingers together, like the cash. Like we get swept up on preseason bullshit. And this is now we're here 10 years later and we're doing the watch for Shadur. I'm just saying, don't get caught up. Don't get caught up in the whole deal. But I'm glad the fans are having fun in August. That's fun. All right. I think that does it for this Sunday edition of the Shotguns or Monday.
Anything else
edition.
on Memphis?
You want to throw something out there?
No. You said anything else on Memphis about 45 minutes in. It's like
we're just
Akshay T6. You want to talk about him? Ludwig finally doing something?
No.
Hasn't been present really.
No, I have no takes left.
Congrats to the 5 guys who played their way in. That's good. Sorry to see Spieth go home. No Baltimore for them. All right, we'll talk to you on Wednesday.